back. Oh. Hello, everybody, and welcome
There we
back
go.
to the best. There we go. My camera just decides to not be functioning today. But oh my goodness, did that draft specifically function for EGP towards the end of the game? That was an absolute banger, and if my camera can focus, that would be incredible. My face is here. I don't know what's going on here, but we're just gonna roll with it. I'm gonna start off with you, Fairy Girl, and my question specifically is gonna be regarding to that itemization. So for the Viego specifically, we saw the Dead Man's Plate with Kraken. Can you maybe walk us through the reasoning behind this?
I think the Dead Man's Plate was just for like looking for picks, maybe like with the E, like you're just moving really fast with it. Their comp in general had a lot of movement speed, so I think that's what they're going for with it, with Karma and like Recon alls as well.
Yeah, and I have very mixed feelings about it. I don't generally like him, the Viego, but considering what City Witty was doing for the team, and with the speed boost from Ayakura often was actually the first one in instead of Eclipse, I kind of understand it as the engage tool to work. I'm not completely sold on it, but I don't think it was the reason why things fell apart for Taco Gaming.
Yeah, we spoke about Taco Gaming and how like in the green room, how we're talking about the fact that they were actually the ones dishing out the early punches in the game, something we haven't really seen from them before. They really took the lead on this one, RMC, but eventually it didn't work out the way they wanted it to. It's not, I mean, obviously they didn't walk away with the win here. So what do you think was that turning point for them? What went wrong?
I think it's really interesting because I felt like EGP out-tacoed Taco with how the game kind of went there. Like, we talk about Taco as a scaling team, you know, they want to play for late. I thought EGP actually got almost better scaling that particular game, and I think EGP got a lot of comfort. So they kind of just hands-checked Taco in that game a little bit and came away the victors. So for Taco Gaming going into game 3 now, whenever you're mechanically checked by the enemy team, it becomes a bit tougher at that point, because now what do you do about that? It's not something you can necessarily fix in draft here. It feels like that's something that they'll need to mentally reset and then see how do they want to play. Do they want to give more carries to the team like what EGP did, or do they maybe even want to double down, you know, go for that hyper carry in like Gorica, like the Kog'Maw, the Twitch, but this time really funnel everything towards that carry.
Yeah, and let's have a look at the first replay specifically, Fairy Girl. We saw that dance around the dragon where EGP, they really wanted to get it. Unfortunately, it didn't work out for them. Walk us through it.
So when I saw that team fight, I actually thought that it was going to be a turning point for TG, and a lot of the sorry.
I think there are going to be some technical issues with the mic here. RMC, would you be kind enough to pick it up from here?
Sure. Yeah, I think this was that kind of awkward team fight for EGP where they kind of stuck around the dragon too long. They leashed it, but they didn't have full vision control of the area, and then they weren't sure whether they could disengage. So they kind of just sit there tanking the dragon for a while, and then by the time they actually had to go and fight, they were kind of down a little bit, and Taco had full control. So a good start for Taco to really pressure EGP there.
Yeah, and Taco have been really good at pressuring these objectives, getting those drakes in, and really forcing EGP in kind of very uncomfortable scenarios like this one that we just seen here. A couple of backdoors, or when we saw last game, they traded the Drake for the in-hit. Like, you know, EGP, they're keeping them on their toes. TG is keeping EGP on their toes, that's for sure. But EGP managed to find a clapback, and that's the second replay here. And the thing here is RMC, Yukino pulls the trigger, does the thingy, and it works.
Yes.
Walk us through it.
Yes, this is what I was hoping we'd see from Yukino. You know, after last game I was saying I want to see Yukino pull the trigger, and this time Yukino did the thing. And this is not the first time he did the thing in this game here. But every time he does it, it seems to work. When you play aggressive, when you're willing to just engage on the enemy team and trust that your team has enough damage to carry through. We saw it last game as well towards the end of the game on Wukong. This game as well. This especially we wanted to highlight because Yukino, not only does he do the thing, he's doing it hyper aggressively. That turret hasn't fallen. He takes 2 turret shots from it, and we know that turret shots scale up really hard in the current patch as well. But even then, because they're far ahead enough, it lets them ace. It lets them close the game out.
Yeah, they closed.
Hey, Fairy Girl's back.
Welcome back.
Yeah, I'm back. I also feel like their team lacked some damage output as well. TG's team.
Yeah, so do you guys think that there is, again, the specific player that we really need to be highlighting and looking at in the third game here, Fairy Girl?
I think definitely watching out for Doxa. I think the Zoe picks really impacted the game.
RMC? Any player that you're like, okay, this is the final game here, we got to keep our eyes on them?
You know what? For this final game, even though I'm predicting EGP win, I'm gonna say
Okay.
Rovex for Taco Gaming right now, because I thought the Rakan last game didn't quite have as much impact, and I think if he had the impact, I think Rovex can be the tipping point for Taco Gaming. So I want to see Rovex do the Yukino thing and engage.
Well, RMC, last time you picked EGP as your word for that tweet, you actually got it right. EGP won another game. You get to pick another word for the tweet specifically. You get to make up for putting EGP and Omega LOL in the same sentence. I don't know what you're thinking, but go ahead, pick a word.
Oh man, you know what? Let's not troll EGP here. Let's go with strong EGP. Yes.
Okay, strong. I like that. Strong EGP. You've predicted that they're going to be walking away with 2-1. I guess we're going to have to wait and see as we're going to be heading into the third game soon. I'm really looking forward to it. Both of these teams, they have absolutely delivered some incredible highlight clips, incredible team fights, really keeping each other on their toes. I think I aged by like 10 years. My BPM is going up and down, seeing all these team fights, seeing what's going on across the map. Like, I have no idea what's going on, but who does know what's going on are going to be Pyrrha and Beatdown once again. Your incredible casters throughout this series, bringing you all this action. Guys, for one final game here, go ahead.
Thank you very much, Gennaro, RMC, Fairy Girl. Oh my goodness, what a series it's been. We have a whole nother series after this. It's going to be fantastic.
I know.
But this game beat down, it was a best of 3. We're right down to a best of 1 at this point, and it is for who is going to be making it out of this GSL bracket stage and into the next phase of the tournament. I am so excited to see who it's going to be, because both teams have really proved they can play to their strengths. We saw Taco Gaming very chaotically bring it all back. Game number 2, this time it was EGP controlling through some incredible team fight. Big shout out to Yukino. I wonder if they can do it again, or if Taco will come back for Tuesday.
That's going to be the question, Pyra. I think, honestly, we talk about Taco Gaming and how good they are as a late game team fighting team, how good they are just hanging back and scaling, but I think we've been seeing a lot of that from EGP as well. Again, even in game 1 they lost, a lot of good late game team fights in their favor, and even more so in game 2, where they managed to close things out a lot sooner than Taco did in game 1. So going into this third game, we could see the strategy switch up yet again, even though a lot of the bans were mostly the same. We saw EGP give us a different look. They could do the same thing for game 3, or maybe we go back to the Senna Seraphine. The question now is for Taco Gaming, backs against the wall. What are you looking to do? What are you looking to do here? I mean, Eclipse on the Jax, I honestly think individually has been really good. I like City Witty on the Viego, but it seems like they weren't able to set up very well around Gorka in that last match, or that last game. We talked about how important he was when you have something like a Karma mid into your Twitch, so you can have that Moonstone healing and everything like that. So I think a comp, if you want to play for Gorka, more upfront CC and maybe a tank support, something along those lines, just so you can effectively frontline.
Right. I think given the fact that Gorka has shown that that's what he wants to do, that's the way he wants to play, it's a risky strategy for a bot laner. You need to be able to protect it more adequately. Either that, or they have to shift back to a game 1 mentality where he wasn't the focus of the team. He was able to dish a lot of damage in the late game. He was able to be that mobile tank, or sorry, that mobile cannon. And he did a lot of the team's damage, but it didn't matter if he died because you had City Witty able to bring it up. You had Eclipse able to make those hero plays and also find the back door. I don't think you want to bet on a back door winning you the game.
No, definitely
not. It's always
not
possible. For Taco, yeah, I think they need to clean up their 5v5s a little bit and the way that they set it up for them if they want Gorka to be the main damage dealer. If not, if they want to mix it up, then that's always a possibility, but that is clearly an angle of attack that EGP have settled on, and they've been able to find it enough to get a pretty clean finish to that second game. So I think they have to be feeling pretty good momentum-wise.
100%. And I agree. Just playing more for Gorka, I think, especially in your draft, might be the best bet here. Or maybe they give him something more like the Senna, the Seraphine, what we saw Mia and Donbray run in game 1. There's a lot of different options here for the side of Taco Gaming. And I mean, I think Eclipse has definitely shown that he's a player that you can prioritize, play towards, because especially with both of his performances in games 1 and 2. And that's maybe what I'm looking to see Taco Gaming switch it up towards when we get into draft.
Yeah, I'm curious to see if they focus a few more bans that side, right? Because you do have like the same matchup going on twice with the Gwen versus Jax.
That's
Very
true.
clearly, it's the type of thing that like, do you really want to ban the Jax because there's always other champions that can do what he does? But for the Gwen being a champion that was such a high priority through a good chunk of the spring and is clearly still very much a power pick, do you try to remove that from the side of Faisal, or do you really focus on some of the more well-known quantities in the mid and the bottom lane? I mean, you can't really ban out Mia.
That's the thing.
But you can definitely focus on Dox. I think that Zoe might merit it. We're going to find out. We're getting into picks and bans for the final time in this series. EGP one more time on the blue side, Taco Gaming one more time on the red, and we are underway, Beatdown.
So the thing you talked about, the Zoe ban, that happened in game 1 because Doxa got picked in the second rotation. So maybe that could happen this time around, first rotation. The problem is, I like Taco Gaming's first 3 bans because they get rid of very critical picks. I think what they've been going for the most part has always been the Lucian, always been the Lilia, and I'm forgetting the third pick, but it's always basically those 3
Lilia.
where if you open up something like the Lilia or the Lucian or people like Yukina or Mia, that's a big problem in itself. So I think you're going to end up I have a feeling we're going to handshake the Gwen Jax one more time this series.
I think you're right. So far, no changes as the Kindred continues to be banned away. Clearly, the Viego, well, it still can be a big step-up carry champion. Not like it was last year, right, where it just absolutely like rolls face on the keyboard and you can just get like triple, quadra pentakills. The Talia comes through yet again. This time it's the first rotation ban.
That was what it was.
Yeah, I wonder if we still, probably still see the Lilia coming through. Maybe they focus a little differently because Yukino clearly was still able to do a lot on the Xin Zhao. Maybe they have a plan to try and deal with it. But we'll find out. So far, no changes on the EGP side with Graves banned away for round 2.
Yeah, the third ban is going to be like, what's up in the air there? Are you going to ban away the Karma like they did in game 1? Are you going to actually look to take away the Viego this time around? Because I think City Witties honestly look pretty good on it here, and you really end up kind of just narrowing down his what he can actually play yet again there, and putting a lot of focus there on Taco Gaming's jungle might be the angle for this next game. But yeah, looking at Taco Gaming's side, the order of bans are a little different from what we've seen in the first few games, but it's the same thing so far. The question is going to be Lilia on 3. Do you take away something else?
Yeah, I think they could be setting up for something a little bit different here. But for the EGP side, I do want to know if they continue to throw bans at City Witty. I think that's a good idea, but they stick to trying to get rid of the Lulu. This is identical to game number 2. It did get them a win. And we saw the flex, of course, of that Karma towards Ayakura. The Gwen ban, that's the mix-up. They're going to leave the Lilia open here, but they're not going to let Faisal have his preferred champion.
That is interesting. So they're prioritizing that one more. We could still see Eclipse technically play out on the Jax, but they're tired of seeing Faisal on the Gwen. So that opens up other options for EGP. Again, like we're saying, the Lilia that's been banned out the entire time, now that's available to Yukino. Wukong is still up. Senna's still up, which Senna seems to be their priority right now. Even though it didn't win in game 1, Donbray, when he was piloting it, started to get really strong in the late game.
Yeah, not to mention stealing out a couple of objectives. First rotation on the Senna, though, so this game 3 is mixing up the order, at least for Evil Genius Prodigies. For Taco Gaming, you can see the focus remains the same if they go ahead and lock in this Karma once more, and they do.
Yeah, and the question is, do you try and grab something like the Ezreal this time around so you can have that double poke bot lane, a lot of range, a lot of pressure, especially if we see EGP go for that Senna Seraphine again? That could end up being pretty valuable there for Taco, and this is kind of what I was alluding to, where you put Gorka on something that's like a safe pick, and you try to play for other parts of the map here. Play for mid, unless Ayakura is the one running that Karma again, or play for top, depending on what you grab for Eclipse.
Yeah, you always have that option here, too. It does mean that EGP can try to pick away City Witty's favorite champion there in the Viego, and they will do it, in fact. But I really like this adaptation for Taco Gaming because all of the issues in those 5v5s have come down to Gorka being isolated, not having a built-in escape. Now you have access to the Arcane Shift. You can get out of danger relatively free. and you have an option to play differently. That 2v2, I still really like it. They've left up a couple of options, though. Doxa comes in with the Zoe once again, so already a lot of power in this mid jungle. I think we'll probably see Yukino playing a little differently. I want to see how aggro he can be. Taco Gaming get one more pick here.
Yeah, and Yukino's Viego is nothing to sneeze at. Well known for quite the interesting Viego build. I don't know if we'll see it here necessarily, but it ends up being quite the good one. I like this answer, actually, the Olaf, because there's a lot of good things about this. The Olaf, reworked Olaf is actually quite strong right now, and you have a lot more agency in the early game against something like the Viego, because you're going to be able to, your first clear is much faster, so you have a lot more, and your clear early on is faster in general. So City Witty is actually going to have a lot more time on the map to be able to make plays before and after he clears.
Yeah, and we did see City Witty playing this Olaf most recently in the open qualifier matches as well. I think that was the opening game that they played it in. So definitely has that one more recently in the book. Into the ban phase 2 we go. We see the Karthus off the board. That is definitely something that we could see falling into the hands of Mia. She has played multiple champions in honestly, if I'm reading it right, multiple roles too. And the Seraphine also going to be taken off the board, so it is focused towards the bot side, of course, because that's what's left.
Right, and the Seraphine ban, definitely an interesting one. I mean, you already have the Karma, so you're probably not going to see that paired with the Olaf, as was pretty common when he was picked before the rework. So now we're just going to see what EGP is trying to take away here. Could very well look to take away another top pick from Eclipse. They banned the Fiora in game 2. They could look to do so again, but instead, it's actually going to end up being the Gangplank, interestingly enough, that they want to remove.
Yeah, so I think this really speaks to the EGP's recognizing that Eclipse is very much a breakout damage-dealing threat, somebody that can be a problem on the side lanes. They know he's not going to get Gwen because TG banned it themselves, so they take away some of the other big damage dealers. I think this might force Eclipse into maybe more of a team-enabling role here, although they could definitely mix it up. 5v5 for Taco Gaming starts to get a little deadly. I mean, talk about a ball delivery system. Olaf can run in there, cannot be stopped on a Ragnarok. I like this. Ayakura can play a little bit further back, can still dish the damage. On the Evil Genius Prodigy side, looks like with the lock-in of the Camille, Faisal's just challenging Eclipse to come up with the Fiora play.
Yeah, and I think that's why we saw the Gangplank takeaway there. Faisal on this Camille. When you see the Olaf, you're just going to decide, all right, well, Olaf goes for my backline, I'm going for your backline. So it's going to just end up being that trade coming through, seeing who can kite it out better. And I mean, Vayne is pretty good at kiting things out with the tumble, and she's really strong, even with the 12-10B nerfs that come through. A lot of true damage still coming out because of her Silver Bolt passive. So I think I like what we're seeing from EGP. You are going to be able to kite things out, but also you have this opportunity for Faisal to jump on top of Gorka, try and isolate someone like like this Ezreal, someone like this Orianna, and that's the big thing I think EGP are looking for that setup.
Absolutely. Final pick in for Taco Gaming. Eclipse is going to still stick to the side lane with the Jace to be able to outrange Faisal for at least a little while on that game. But I love this Vayne pickup for Mia. Ever since I started studying up for this event, Beatdown, and looking at Mia and her champion pool and the type of player that she is, just a full-on mechanical prodigy, if you will, I have been waiting for the Vayne game to come out, and this is throwing it all on the line. Remember what this game is for. This is to move forward into the next bracket. Of course, the team that loses isn't out of this tournament. There's still that double elimination factor, but you want to be the first out of the group. You want to not have to play those extra games. And Evil Genius Prodigies, they've been pushed a little more than they have so far. I am so excited to see this composition from EGP. So many weapons on that side.
Yeah, and I mean, another point there for Mia, just to go off what you're saying, this is her first team too, which I actually think we haven't mentioned yet today, which is the crazy thing. Mechanically nuts, first team for her. Player we've been talking up a lot in previous broadcasts, just because it's always exciting when a player on their first team shows us a lot of mechanical prowess, flexibility, looking at the champs that she plays, and now we're just seeing it isn't even any of the weird stuff in the bot lane. It's no Karthus, it's no Seraphine, it is an AD carry, one that does require the mechanical skill we keep hyping up. So going up against Gorka on this Ezreal, it is going to be about which AD carry can stay alive, because you have City Witty and Faisal looking to just full sprint into the backline.
Absolutely. Have to rely on those mechanics as we get into game number 3. The winner moves forward. The loser is going to have to play it out once again in this bracket. So, Evil Genius Prodigies, so many damage dealers on their side. Doxa comfortable with this Zoe. Yukino taking away City Witty's favorite champion from this series so far, that Viego, but he's matching it, going for an early engage here. Invade, I should say, into the blue side jungle. Faisal should be able to get away if he does get spotted, but he doesn't know this is happening. Oh, he could be in trouble. Flash is burned. He's walking away, though.
Yep.
Hook shot.
I mean, you were going to get... It is a little unlucky starting hook shot, but I mean, realistically, you were going to get pushed in regardless. So Faisal is going to be able to just recall, walk his way back to the top lane. Worth noting, Faisal did take the flash. So it is going to be helpful both defensively and offensively, because defensively, of course, Olaf's going to try and run you down, and offensively, well, this Ezreal can be very pesky with that arcane shift, so having a little bit of a gap close of your own, even if it is on a long cooldown, will be nice.
Oh, for sure. So, get underway. We've kind of seen these games, despite game 1 and 2 being very different, kind of fall into a bit of a pattern where the aggression kind of happens after a few minutes, but this time Taco Gaming are like, no, none of that. We have late game, or at least we like to play for late game, but we know how powerful this team is with what they've got. And you want to talk about late game scaling? Well, Vayne is the queen of late game damage dealing.
Very true. Now we have the late invade coming through from Taco Gaming. It is spotted out because of the ward place, so they do have that information. Yukino should be able to just go ahead and cross map on this one, but I like the pressure here going for this early split map. You're keeping Yukino away from this bottom side of the map, because you do want to just set this Vayne as far behind as possible.
Oh, man. Both bot laners, both supports just taking it. The first blood is so close. You can taste it. The flash away from Gorka and the heal. Oh, Dawnbreak couldn't quite close the gap.
Wow. We already got summoners being traded here. Really big fight coming in for this level 2. And we already have that information. I actually think City Witty passed on the ward too just before it expired. The information is there. City Witty isn't going to go straight towards the top side to go try and deny Yukino and set him behind. Again, it is just about the cross map so that he can limit Yukino's time on this bottom side of the map, especially where you have a bot lane as EGP, where you really want to play towards.
Yeah, 3 summoners burned down on the Taco Gaming bottom side of the map. It's traded by 2 from Mia and Dawnbray, 1 each. I think that definitely favors the Vayne Senna just a little bit here, but you got to be careful with City Witty hanging around. He's obviously a little low. The Olaf didn't want to come in that early on a level 2 play, especially not with most of his health bar. One of the worst things you can do, feed that Vayne kills early on in the game. Checking in the top, though. It is an early lead for Eclipse, but neither of them are going to be able to really shove this super hard early. I think we have a much quieter top side than we've had in previous games.
Yeah, for the moment, because I mean, with City Witty also spending a lot more time bot with the cross map going on, he won't be top for a few more minutes. He's just going to go top, realize, okay, some of his camps are out of the picture here, and because of that, Yukino actually essentially ends up having a full clear. You see that 24 CS coming through. He's going to be able to recall and grab his Sheen. So it's not the worst. But the thing to note, this has been stacking this wave. Looking kind of juicy. City Witty might have an opening.
Yeah, he might. Unfortunately, not able to get over the wall as Olaf. It's one of those things he just can't do, but, I
think that's okay. Yeah.
Eclipse has taken some damage. Good job by Faisal there, really trying to shove it back. And Faisal's had a rougher ride in the last couple of games. Just kind of been pushed in a lot by the Jax, and I think the takeaway does give him more opportunities. Remember, once 6 hits, I mean, Hextech Ultimatum, I don't care how fast you can run, Jace, you're not getting out of there.
That's right. Your movement will be a little bit limited in that regard. I think that's the thing, say about Faisal in general. It's very positive. More often than not, you see EGP for quite some time have given him the blind. They will pick him first more often than not, and I've even seen this pattern form on red side in the past in previous splits, and he still manages to perform pretty well, despite almost always getting countered.
Okay, here comes Yukino. That's the step in disguise. Hook shot, look, nice knockback. Oh,
okay.
With almost the last of his mana, Eclipse just knows.
It's not bad. It was a little clean. You like to see that. Really nice move from Eclipse. Does mean he is going to have to recall, probably commit the teleport, but he didn't have to bolt flash. It's a big dub there. So overall,
Rolex? He really wanted to stop that back.
I mean, he got what he wanted. But
didn't stop Mia.
I think that's really what matters there. He's going to come back to lane with a bit of gold spent. But overall, things are still pretty quiet. I mean, I'm looking for City Witty. You take Ghost on this Olaf, and even though Olaf is really strong now post WeWork, you still want to use the early game power that you have. City Witty clears very quickly right now. And Yukino needs some more itemization before he can do the same.
Okay,
Use that.
Shot cut off. Still 5v5 on this one, or in terms of levels. And nice tack sweep there. Yeah, I think more to your point, like as this Olaf, it's not just the champion and his power early. It's City Witty and his role, right? This is the thing that Taco Gaming always banked on in the early game, is that City Witty can provide pressure. He is hanging around on this bottom side. There's a ward up in Tri-Brush here, so they would be able to spot him. They already know he's there. And Yukino, not on 6 just yet, not quite near the team. And, oh man, Faisal wants to get a one-on-one going here as he finds the Hextech Ultimatum Eclipse. He knows he is a dead man. Flash forward, followed through. No, he limps away. I don't believe it.
Yeah, not enough points on the hook shot. Faisal already used it to close the gap, but he will be able to trade flashes, which is super valuable. Yukino has that opening for these next couple minutes as a result of that one. I mean, his top camps are starting to respawn Pyro. That's an easy opening there. You were never going to fight this dragon in the first place, so he can just look to go mid on his way towards the top lane or just recall and spend his gold.
Absolutely. Oof, definitely got to keep an eye up there here. We'll look at the bottom as well, though, because that's a good bit of poke down that Gorica and Robex have been able to dish on to Mia. They can get this push in right now. Pretty safely, too. I mean, we talk about a safe bot lane with an Ezreal Karma, but, like, can also do a lot of damage. It's just poke.
Right. I mean, it is that constant priority, which is part of what's giving City Witty these openings to take dragons. So dragon stacking, clearly a big deal for Taco Gaming. I mean, it has been all series long. That isn't going to change here with all this early pressure they have. But in that situation, what do EGP get as a trade? That's what you always got to ask yourself when you're letting objectives go on the other side of the map. And so far, you know, some pretty content farming things up, but once this top side is clear, might tick over to level 6. You do have that opening to try and take down the flashless Eclipse, or maybe set yourself up for this Rift Herald.
Yeah, I have to keep an eye on any potential cross-maps plays that come through here. Teleport's still down for both top laners as well as flashes for a little while now. Faisal should have his maybe a smidgen before Eclipse, but while there has been a little focus on top, I think the Rift Herald, which has proven to be a pretty big priority here for both these teams, is going to be looked at pretty shortly.
So here's the thing, Taco Gaming, I think their level 6 spike is so big. You have the Shockwave for Ayukura. Of course, you also have the Ragnarok for City Witty. So because you even have your support who's moving first because they've had prio the entire time on the bottom lane, actually means that Yukino and the rest of EG don't get first move on to this Rift Herald. They're going to lose out on Scuttle. They won't necessarily have the ability to make a move. Oh, wait, the Shockwave's out.
Yeah, Dox is a little low, playing a very dangerous game here, but Mia and Dawnbray are there. The final hour is going to get stuffed for just a second. Mia taking a lot of damage off the back half. True Shot Barrage going to clip the heal preemptively to stay alive, and all of a sudden it's looking a little harder to contest on that.
Well, contest is what they are going to try to do. Big shot. The Shockwave being out is actually a big deal here. You can look to fight this out on the other side of EG Prodigies, but I don't think it's actually what they want to be doing here. A lot of full health bars on Taco Gaming sides, and they are ripping this Herald to shreds. They might be looking for the fight after, though. They're posturing.
I think they are right now. Ayakura is the one hanging around the opposite side, but cut off with the rest of the team. Here comes Faisal and trying to lock them up with the Hextech Ultimatum. They do manage to find Robex. That's going to be the first blood in this game off the back of the fight. Ayakura looking to come around the side, does not have access to the Shockwave follow through. Yukino can't quite finish off City Witty, and it's a Herald for 1. Make that 2 as Ayakura goes down to Mia.
That ends up being a lot of gold value there for Evil Genius Prodigies. You take down Ayakura, you're going to get some turret plates in mid lane as a result of that one, and it ends up being a big fight, taking advantage of the fact that Ayakura used Shockwave in the mid lane just a few, 30 seconds prior to this exact situation. Had that been held onto, though, you feel a lot better, I think, about the fight afterwards. So Evil Genius Prodigies, they recognize they have the angle, the isolation from Faisal that we were talking about comes in so big here, taking out Robex. The rest of the fight is just nice and easy.
Yeah, I think Ayakura really made a big mistake here, chasing and getting sandwiched yourself on the back of it. I don't think you're really in a position to fully commit without the Shockwave, without a whole lot of mana to work with. You could have continued to poke, but not fully chased, and that would have been kept to 1 death. And I think that's much more worth it for Taco Gaming. You get the Herald and you only lose 1.
Right, so now this Herald for Taco Gaming, it's got to be big to offset what they've lost so far. And it certainly can be. Again, you have this bot lane that's constantly pushed in. You could go ahead and try to drop it bot. You could set up you have a lot of dive options because City Woody has that Ragnarok. So that means there's a lot of options for Taco Gaming as a whole for where they actually want to try and make this play. I mean, Ayakura has that Shockwave back up again as well. So you could even go mid. You see Rovex already in the area.
Mm-hmm. Rovex hanging around. This is one of those things that you can do a lot more safely when your bot laner is on an Ezreal. Has been able to keep up pretty well with what Mia has got going for herself. This Vayne, of course, did pick up that one kill. I don't want to call attention to it because that's pretty big. You know, you start to scale off those kills quite well as the game continues to go. It's, of course, very early, still only 11 minutes right now. Always keeping an eye on that top lane matchup. Eclipse continuing to give Faisal a hard time in the farm game, but there's that kill differential, which makes things a lot closer. City Witty throwing out the undertow does split the uprights between Donbray and Yukino, though, and it's EG Prodigies throwing their weight around the map a little bit more right now. There is going to be another dragon spawning in about 10 seconds, and if you want to commit for this, I think you're in a pretty good position to try and take it, but teleport's up and available for both top laners.
Right, I think Taco Gaming likely will have the best chance. Yukino's here because he suspects the Rift Herald's being dropped with City Witty showing his presence, but it could easily just be a drop of the Herald in exchange for priority over that Drake.
Alrighty, as they look to go ahead and set up on this dragon, but we do have a pause coming in, so a bit of a tense moment on the map around that pit. It has been the focus for Taco Gaming, especially in the early game, to just try and play towards those dragon objectives, and I think this is a much better position for EGP to try and fight around it, but you're right, like, they were kind of more playing defensive, looking for the stop on the Herald, but ends up just being the dragon fight opening up here.
Right, so they don't drop the Herald on the side of Taco Gaming. They want to hold on to it because it's still realistically, if we talk about combat power, especially with Ayukura, having that Shockwave back off of cooldown, I'm pretty sure she had a lot of mana as well. So I'm not too worried about, I don't think they're too worried about being able to fight this one out. The only way you really realistically get this one as EGP is if Yukino goes for a big steal over the wall and maybe they get a good fight angle. But realistically, you have a lot of things to worry about with the Shockwave, with the Olaf ultimate, that Ragnarok. The thing I think that is most noteworthy and why this Vayne pick is pretty good in my opinion, the change to Olaf, I think that's the most important here, is that the cooldown for his ultimate baseline is significantly reduced. I think it's only 2 or 3 seconds, but it increases by a second every time you auto an enemy champion. So if you're kiting Olaf out, you only have a couple seconds before that, not able to be CC'd problem is solved. So I think that's what they're looking to do on EGP side.
Yeah, I think as much as you can actually stiff arm him, that's really huge, right? You're going to be looking at Mia to try and be able to tumble away a bit as well. At the same time, on the Taco Gaming side, I think it's great that you called attention to that Shockwave, because one of the ways that EGP have been able to find these fights around objectives has been kind of just dogpiling together and finding a priority target. You can't do that very safely against a Shockwave, because then you get that like 8,000 elo play and all of a sudden your team is deleted off the map. It's still early in the game. It's not going to hit quite that hard, but you do not want to group up in the same way that you did in previous games. So I think 100%. EGP have to be very careful about how they take these fights. And yeah, maybe the play is to try and force a steal and then just like flank around the back of the pit. That's one thing you can do on blue side, is try to like wrap around a little bit and try to pick people off. They've been able to take down Gorka a number of times doing that. True. He's not the prio this time around. I don't know. There's so many unknowns, and I'm on the edge of my seat right now because we are at this pause in this like crazy moment, like speculating about how it's going to go. I think you would also seed the dragon, right? It's not the end of the world, but you do start to get into a tough spot. Here's the start of the fight. Let's see how it goes. Yeah,
they are fishing a little bit, but the poke is definitely good. Kino isn't there. Yeah, you can't steal it.
Yeah, it was a nice try. All right, City Witty.
Shockwave!
Smite is right, but that's a pretty big one. They don't get the deletion down. Another Hex Rift is happening. But Taco Gaming, they walk away with their prize, and they are still threatening. They're going to have to drop that Herald soon, though.
Surprise? City Witty doesn't just full send for that play as soon as the Shockwave lands. And he had Ghost, had Ultimate ready to go. But I think Taco Gaming, they're happy with the Dragon. They're happy with the fact that City Witty is going to be able to just respawn, or rather reset, move across the map, and find a place to drop this Herald. The thing is, yeah, like you said, it's running out. So your options are well, you don't have many options at all. You're going to drop it
mid lane.
Yeah,
Let's go. I mean, Doxa should be able to help stop this one a little bit. Big paddle star, not to mention. That's going to get a charge off. I mean, Yukino's here as well. Yeah, not as much value as you would have liked. Oh, they nearly got rid of it. Wow.
So it's okay. It's still a nice bit of gold that you managed to pick up. Oh,
okay.
See ya.
He has flash, but that's the follow through. Oh, so low. Not again.
Refillable pot is good. What can I say?
That is a tilter. That's a tilter.
Okay, hold on. Hear me out, Pyra. I actually don't think it's a tilter. The reason I say that is because I think Jace Flash is a lot more valuable than Camille's Flash. So it means Eclipse has to play a lot more carefully, space more carefully in these team fights because, well, now someone like Yukino or Faisal get on top of him. How's he getting out?
I mean, yeah, but that's a consolation prize, man. I don't know about you. I'm tilted.
Yeah.
I don't know how he keeps getting away with this.
Kills?
That's 2 for 2.
Are you bloodthirsty?
Oh, yeah, no, this is how, well, I mean, thing is, it wouldn't happen in my game because I play Singed.
Wow, I don't want to work with you anymore. Can we switch out? I know it's mid-game, but, like, Unified, come on, save me, please.
You're stuck with me, Beatdown.
No.
Let's keep going. Oh, boy. Back into this game, though. Yeah, you know, like, no one has to play with me, actually, Toxic, you know. But I think you're right. I think you're right that, like, the flash value is definitely favoring Faisal. But you would love to start picking those kills up because you can start to, you know, there's no plates anymore, but you can start to get a little bit more pressure on the side lanes. Now you're going to see Taco Gaming looking to set up for a dive here. I think Faisal knows.
Yeah, really big respect coming through. Like, you know, Rolex has been off the map for some time, but...
Oh, he didn't know! He didn't know!
Hold on, he's,
Oh,
the shield?
Oh, missed the undertow. Wow, okay.
No,
you know what? It's
not
fine.
right.
They both get away when they really shouldn't have. That was actually some amazing mechanical skill to sidestep Faisal. No summoners, no problem at all. Close calls across the board. A max range Battlestar. And that's the Doxa diff, baby.
That's a big catch out there. And honestly, is off that ward, just getting a really easy read on where to throw that bubble. Now, Doxa, he's hungry. He wants more.
I think he's going to get it, too, and you're going to even bring Yukino here. There's nowhere Eclipse can really go on the wrong side of the map. He's going to try and maybe get a kill to answer back, and even though he's dodging quite a lot of skill shots, it's just a matter of time as the portal jump brings Doxa right into range. 2 quick kills for the Zoe. A little bit of help, meanwhile, Mia on the bottom trying to 1v2. Not so easy, though, as Ayakura was there to help out Gorka.
Yeah, really nice move. Right, nice response from Taco Gaming's mid laner to help make something happen on the other side. It isn't, you lost a little more if you're Taco Gaming, but it is nice because it means Gorka is going to be able to farm unfettered and be able to threaten that tower, force Faisal to answer the wave. And we're going to see how this happened because Mia in this position where he wants this 1v1, and it's looking like he's going to get the better of it at this point at level 9, max silver bolts. But Ayakura TPing in is what saves the day here, even though the damage was pretty good in this 1v2. Mia couldn't secure a kill.
Yeah, very close. How many times have we seen like near kills, near misses?
I know.
There? Gorka having to burn everything just to get away, and yeah, man. At the very least, you know, Mia's starting to roll forward on this Feint, and yeah, sure, you lose out and you give a kill over. It's onto a champion that isn't going to go quite as crazy with it, though. I think the Orianna, it's not the worst thing to happen. You do end up having the teleport expended. So, in theory, you have that advantage when Doxa gets it back, of course. Well, excuse me, Doxa not playing on Unsealed Spellbook. What am I talking about? That's going to be Herald dropped, though, in the mid lane. Tower going down. What? Hey, no, denied!
Tower's not going down.
Shelly. Poor Shelly. I hate to see it.
Oh, no.
But
Poor
who is going down? Okay, everything is opened up on this map right now, Beatdown. This is getting a little bit shenanigans.
Yeah, a little bit shenanigans indeed. Now, you have this mid tower under threat, but you have priority over this Drake. You just want to clear this wave so Taco can't actually take this turret at the moment, and then you walk your way down to this dragon. You deny that soul point. Anything goes a little awry. Looking like, yeah, EG Prodigies, they want to focus this dragon. They're in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, I think with Yukino and Faisal here, it's going to be a little hard to try and get in there in time. Doxa able to zone out. Ooh, that was a good attempt on the True Shot Barrage from Gorka, but it's a little bit too late. Secured down. Drake stack starting to get cut off here as Taco Gaming going to look to get something back for themselves. Doxa going forward. Always a bit of a risky play, but on the portal jump, you come right back. Taco Gaming open up the second tower. It's amazing. They have the ones on the towers this game. EG Prodigies have kind of been stopped in their attempts here as Eclipse is under fire again.
Oh my god.
And that is like shooting fish in a barrel.
It's nice and easy. And you get another reset for Yukino, more gold overall. And you talked about the tower game. Well, EG Prodigies, they're going to pick up their first one, Pyra. And at this rate, it's looking like the first of many. As you can see, they've been really applying the pressure onto Eclipse here. And he's now 0-3, just not able to farm as safely and as efficiently as he may want to. And that's kind of the value we're seeing from Faisal on this Camille. We talked about it in draft. That ability to gap close, threaten pretty much anyone and isolate them, whether it's Rovix, whether it's Gorka, or in a lot of cases lately, Eclipse.
Yeah, Dox is starting to take over this game a little bit here by stacking up some kills for himself as well, but Faisal is having such a much better game comparatively because Eclipse just doesn't have that counterplay 1v1 potential. Still going to be a bit of a threat on the side lane. Eclipse Jace can always do that, but it's a very different game here. You can see EG Prodigy starting to take over. Even if, you know, it gets turned around, it gets in that late game, there's always the Vayne X factor that Mia can bring, and we've seen the mechanical prowess that she has in a number of champions, now bringing this high skill cap, Mortal Shield Bow in hand as well. And I think this may be not a full tower, but at least a little bit here, as they are keeping everybody in safe range. A lot of Taco Gaming members sniffing around.
Right, and I mean, again, just to talk about Mia, the fact that she's gotten the Immortal Shield Bow already built up, getting really close to that two item power spike, and when she builds up the what's probably going to be a Rage Blade, something along those lines, she's going to be really powerful and a problem in these team fights.
Doxa manages to get away with a regular flash. Yeah, Mia's definitely going to be a big thorn on the side of Taco as this game goes on, as they fast forward looking for Ayakura, but Yukino takes a lot of punishment. Now Sizzy Witty on the chase.
Oh, the
huge speed boost as he's Ragnarokin, and Dawnbreak goes down. Courtesy of the combo here, that is going to be another one. Mia runs straight into the pain train of the rest of Taco. It might be a Baron at 20 minutes.
Oh, it's a Baron at 20 minutes, all right, Pyra, because with the death of both of your bot laners, there is no longer a damage threat for the side of EGP. So you're just going to have Faisal continuously split. There's nothing he's going to be able to do but try and get what he can on the other side of the map. This is huge for Taco Gaming to be able to break this game wide open in Game 3 at match play.
Absolutely. Taco Gaming getting themselves a pretty big swing, and they needed to arrest the momentum because right now EG Prodigy is the one that continue to push. Faisal getting an inner tower here, looking to accelerate this game state until they can take it all the way in for the win. What a crazy back and forth match this is in his third game, so emblematic of it here as Gorka steps up to clear the way. Faisal easily hook shots away to safety.
Right, I mean, you get the Baron buff as Taco. You haven't quite closed the gold lead, but you still have this ability to threaten to multiple lanes here and try and push these waves out. The only thing I think going for EGP is the fact that they did slow down the Dragon Soul that Taco Gaming have been trying to stack to all series long, even though they won't get an opportunity to fight for this next Drake. Again, it's just the soul point.
Only the soul point. That's another Hex Tech, too. It does allow those the opportunities,
Broken Soul.
Hex Gates, absolutely. So good. So good. Not quite as broken as the Drake that we don't talk about anymore because it doesn't exist. But
what?
I think Ayakura may be dead right now. That was a big wombo of a combo stacking in the Hex Tech hold that made him putting some serious value there. I think, yeah, the Shockwave was burned. It does mean Taco Gaming are going to use the Baron power push down on the bottom side, though, and I think they will take Ayakura's sacrifice in exchange for another tower to try and trade things out, keep the charge going with a handful of minions. I don't know if Faisal can stop this in time, but he's going to have some help from Dawnbray at the very least.
So the thing is, this is actually an okay trade for EGP. They understand that, one, with Taco committing 4 people to the bot side. Oh, wait a minute.
City Witty, I don't know if it's going to be a full trade depending on how it goes the way this one. That is a huge swing. They do lose City Witty, but they traded in for Doxa. Meanwhile, on the back line,
he is here.
Able to stuff it. Yukino Mia looking to get some revenge. Can she do it? That's going to be one. Yukino is just
she's got him.
going to be out of there. No, he takes it down as Mia gets the double kill. The chase continues. Mia hopping over, blast cone on the Vayne, then knockback not condemned into the wall. Ayakura, though, is going over the wall and nowhere for the ace.
Huge play for the new 80 carry. Mia on her first team manages to help clean this one up. But honestly, the big thing here is the fact that EGP, they let the bot tier 2 go. They let Mia farm on her own top lane, get a turret. They let Yukino get a turret mid lane as well. So you get a lot of gold in trade for what is lost. And you have the ability to recall in time to trade these kills back. So this is EGP managing to trade really well on other parts of the map, and even though they did lose their inhibitor turret, they were the rest of the members were able to come to the rescue and get gold on some very crucial members like Mia, who picked up a triple in this fight.
Yeah, not only that, Yukino able to sweep up the remnants on the back of the map, nearly goes down himself, but stays alive just long enough to pull off the reset to take down Gorka. And all of a sudden, EG Prodigies looking much better, despite the fact that they lost two towers down on the bottom side, are facing down an open inhibitor. You see Mia not only stacking gold on the top, she gets 2 kills down on the bottom as well, as they clean up the ace, and any remnants of the Baron buff completely destroyed. It'll be some time before the next dragon, but I think for the first time this series, we've got an equivalence of Drakes.
That's true. We're 2 apiece right now, but EG Prodigy's looking like well on their way to 4 Hextech Drakes and a Soul in a row with how well they've been playing the map so far. Now it's Taco Gaming, or find themselves just under 3k behind. But let's talk about Power Spike. Gorka, Ezreal, we talked about big damage dealer, hit 2.5 items. We know this to be really big for Ezreal. And I mean, realistically, his Mystic shots are going to hurt a lot. You're just also afraid of Mia, who has 2.5 items to her name. You can see it. They're looking for a fight right now. Oh my god, they're TPing.
Everybody's committing here. TP spent on both sides, and I think EG Prodigy saw something they didn't like. They back away immediately on the turn. But now here comes the chase from City Witty, looking for Dawnbray. Speed boost from the Karma going through here. They want to turn and make a stand. Yukino just going to clear that ward.
Wow,
He
this
might
is
be
big.
going in for the commit. Yeah, this is very much a delicate dance.
I think this is honestly a pretty good play here. They're stopping the backs because they have this wave that's constantly pushing bot side. Oh wow. And the big thing too is that now, because you're keeping them at bay, using your range so that they can't recall. I mean, look at this. Look at the minimap. Yeah, look at the minimap. They're just making, they don't even want to fight this. They just want to make sure the backs don't come through, because look at what Faisal's doing in the mid lane. He's taking plates, and the only one who's able to actually get the back off is Eclipse. Not plates, he's taking turrets and pressure all along the map. And trading TPs between these top laners is big, because someone has to push out this bot lane. Oh my god,
Still
Eclipse.
happening. Oh, dodges out the
dead.
shock
He's
blast.
dead.
Faisal in the play. It's going to be the go button here.
They're
EG
wasting
Prodigies
time!
in the 4v4.
They're
They
just
keep
wasting
him going.
time!
They're letting him be a one-man wrecking ball. Faisal in the mid lane right now.
Okay, maybe Dawnbray's in trouble, but there's a lot. Okay, no, he just can't die.
Okay, Mia, though, that's going to be the shockwave. Does pull in
Shockwave.
too. Dawnbray and Doxa going to try and get a little bit of revenge here for Mia as she's gone down in this fight. City Witty getting the
You're
double
kidding
kill
me.
on the opposite number, but look at the base. They just
Oh
need
my
to keep
God,
the busy
he
beat
just
down.
ended
They
the
don't
game.
have to win the fight, but I think they're
Doxa.
gonna anyways. That's going to be the pick off of the kill, but Faisal is not done with this one.
Wait,
and
no
Doxa's
shot.
still dancing
No
around.
shot.
Faisal's got away from this
Okay.
one, doesn't finish the game. What a play.
This is just insane. Coming from EG Prodigy, so much went into what we just saw. But the big takeaways, the big highlights are the fact that Faisal in the mid lane, we've seen it over and over again. He is smashing Eclipse in this matchup in the 1v1. So all you got to do is keep Taco Gaming at bay. Make sure they don't get to recall, so that Faisal gets the 1v1 he wants and gets to very easily take the inhib and a Nexus turret in the process.
Yeah, nearly went all the way through on this one, just kept it going. You saw when Dawnbray was in trouble here, they split, minimized the impact of the shockwave. We were talking about this. Yes, Mia does go down, that shutdown goal, but it's in City Witty's pocket. He's not on the big hyper carry, hyper scaling champion, the likes of a Viego, and they even turn the fight, make this a 2v2. I mean, they nearly straight up won it anyways. I mean, at this point, Doxa looks dead, but then nearly turns it around against the Ragnarokless Olaf.
Yeah, I was very concerned for a moment. Oh, wow, wait, he actually smited the minion instead of City Witty. He might have won that if he didn't do that. But the point is, that was all EGP. Realistically, they got everything they wanted off of that one. Bot wave being pushed out by Faisal. You have Ayakura, who has to answer top because she's the only one with TP, excuse me. And EGP have everything they need. They have vision topside. They can go ahead and start the Baron if they want, and then shift their way down to Dragon.
Yep. Faisal doesn't have TP, but he is running up through the mid lane right now. Going to get intercepted by Rovex. I don't know if he's going to care, actually. He might want to. The rest of the team is there, but Taco Gaming can't fully commit to any one play right now because they've got a busted base in the mid. Looking for that True Shot Barrage. Does clip onto Yukino, but the smite does go down. Baron secured now. Not a lot Taco can do to answer. They're going to try to get the Constellation Dragon and stack themselves up for a soul, but it would be a while before that happens, and they've got to get back to base immediately.
Yeah, and this is such a big win here. The fact that it's not Taco Gaming Soul, you get the Baron, and you can threaten the base immediately, means this is still a big win for Evil Genius Prodigies. Like, they now get all that extra gold just from taking down the Baron, and there are still outer turrets they can take. Maybe it's just one, but they're at a point now. We're 28 minutes in, Pyra. One good ace from EGP, and that's the series. EGP will lock themselves in to the playoff stage.
Absolutely. Oh, and it has been quite the matchup. I think looking at it coming into this week, EGP definitely looked like the favorites, but Taco Gaming, we knew they had a lot of power. We knew they could give them a hard time. And then they take game number one. And I think that was the moment where we had to sit back and look, okay, this is a squad that has surprise factor on their side. There are a couple of clear weaknesses, but they still look really good. The comeback mechanics are there, and the comeback mechanics can always happen on this Taco Gaming side, whether or not it's Tuesday, but they do have that buff going. We're inching closer to that 30-minute mark beatdown. Right now, EG in the driver's seat, but can Taco hold?
Yeah, that's the big thing. And then thank you, observers, for the picture-in-picture, just showing us again the map play, the macro coming through from EGP, the fact that they're so strong. They demand such a big presence from Taco Gaming. It gives Faisal the opportunity to do this, but now they've all recalled. They're trying to see if they can make a big play.
Here's the chase down. It looks like Faisal able to hookshot over, flashing. No! Finally falls down. Yukino could not keep him alive. And it's a bit of a split focus on the rest of the map as Yukino backing away City Witty. The rest of the team not getting caught, not getting pincered. It does mean that Mia is able to take down an inner tower up top, and she can continue to push with a handful of minions. It is all about EG dragging Taco Gaming around the map.
Right. This is what happens when you're so far behind. You have to make play with an overwhelming force of numbers, and that opens up the other parts of the map. So Mia is getting close to level 16 and will have that max ultimate there with the final hour, and with 3 items in the back of her pocket, it's really easy for Mia to take this turret, threaten this next inhib, and EGP can look to close things out. As long as they wait for Faisal to spawn, he has TP.
Yeah, Gorica knew there was no way he was going to be able to defend against that one. They can't actually stop the inhib from going down there. Here's
the
Rovex
shockwave
on the flanking play, but they may not get that one off there. City Witty going down. Mia going crazy in the base right now. The final hour, the tumbles, the silver bolts, and Evil Genius Prodigies cleaning it up with the rest of the team just rolling over Taco Gaming. Eclipse is the last member standing, and not for long as the Nexus is laid bare. Evil Genius Prodigies, welcome to the playoff stage.
EGP say Taco Tuesday is dead as they send Taco Gaming into the lower part of this group to fight one more time for a chance to make it to the playoff stage. But like you said, Pyra, they punched their ticket to playoffs, and they come out of this group as the first seed. Insane play coming through from EGP and showing us why we got a lot of hype around them.
Yeah, I think they were challenged in this series a lot more than I think a lot of people would have said, and that is a huge credit to Taco Gaming. Really, really well played by them. You can see that it's not quite as clean as far as map plays and macro is concerned in the team fights in particular, but man, it's no discredit to Taco because Evil Genius Prodigies are just so darn good. Not only at understanding the map, but at mashing the buttons in those right moments. You could see the respect they were paying to Ayakura's Shockwave in a lot of those fights, not playing for the 5v5. The versatility that this affiliate squad and this lineup can bring is incredible. And a big shout out to the newer players and the younger players. I mean, Yukino stepping it up after that game one particularly. I think Mia did a fantastic job, especially on the Vayne. For her first team, this is huge. I'm so excited to see more out of this player, but also this whole Evil Genius Prodigy side. Well-earned victory. 2-1. And even though Taco Gaming were quite strong, it wasn't quite enough to pull out another game after that first.
No, I think Taco Gaming can definitely be proud of how far they came. They still have another match to be able to get their way into the playoff stage. That's going to be playing, I believe, next week. So with that in mind, they still have time to review, come back stronger, especially off of a pretty good performance today. I still think that they could very well be a team we see in the playoffs in starting next Tuesday. But that aside, I think that's the reason why we have a lot of hype around Mia, AD carry for Evil Genius Prodigies. Again, her first team playing honestly pretty well. This whole team though, well-oiled machine over the side of EGP, and with so many new members, that alone is so impressive.
Yeah, exciting to see. I think we're going to hear a few words from them, but we're going to go on a quick cool down. Don't go anywhere. We'll have a winner's interview after this.
Hello, everybody, and
God.
welcome to the interview. We got Yukino here on desk, and first of all, congratulations on the win. You guys played so well. How are you feeling right now?
I'm feeling very excited that we won the game. It was a close best of 3. You know, like every game was close. Like it was pretty exciting.
Yeah, and you played Wukong in the first game, and once you guys really started getting that momentum, it also kind of started slowing down a little, so there was a lot of back and forth coming through. What did you guys do to really get into that headspace, come into this last game, and just absolutely blow it out of the park?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
How did you guys get into that headspace to really come into this last game and just put up an amazing performance?
Alright, so the first game, you know how we lost, like it was a close match, but you know, like we lost, and like the mindset, I told my team, you know, like we all like agreed, like we gotta focus up, you know, like we can't let them win against us, so like we just like came through game 2, game 3, you know, they were close games, but we won at the end, and I'm happy for my team that we won.
I'm very happy for you guys as well that you were very wholesome. But also, I want to ask you specifically about the draft choices. So one of the games you let Kog'Maw come through the draft and you really struggled dealing with it. Why was that the reasoning to let that champion come through?
I don't know the exact reason. I'm pretty sure like we were talking about it and we were like, yeah, we got fixed into it. It's all good. But I don't know the main reason. But I mean, like I trust my team wants to play against it, so you know I'm done. Cause like we wanted to ban other champions too, like being Graves and Kindred every game, because like I don't play those champs. Those champs are kind of OP, so yeah.
So what champion do you really like playing and are you the most comfortable on right now?
The most comfortable champs I'm playing on right now with this team. I mean I've been playing a lot of Viego, you know, but like yeah, I mean cause like in Champions Queue, like I had to play like different like champions and stuff, but like in a team environment, you know, like I gotta play for my team, so yeah, I mean I'm really comfortable playing Viego, but I want to show off like more of what I can play like in the future.
And hopefully we get to see that in the future. You talked about trusting the team and you talked about the team environment coming through. So what is the most wholesome moments that you guys have had as a team so far?
Wholesome moments, you know, like in team fights, like that last game, like we had like a stare at the top of it, like the 44. We were like laughing like, the whole time. Like it was like a pretty funny situation. We were just like staring each other down for like a whole 2 minutes.
Yeah.
So like Faisal was winning mid lane, the moment we won, you know, like it was just like pretty fun. It was pretty fun. We were all laughing, even though it was like a game 3. It was like really close. Like it was like really fun.
Well, I'm really happy to hear that you guys keep those comfortable and those happy vibes going on in the game, even when it's very much under pressure. Before I close out this interview, Yukino, I want to ask you if you have any shoutouts that you want to give.
Shoutouts. Okay. First, I gotta shout out my team. You know, like Mia, like put it in the work bot lane. You know, like Faisal, like weak side king. You know, like lane top gap, like lane domination. And like Daxa, you know, like playing Zoe, like just like doing his thing, you know, like he's like 1v9ing. So I like to thank my team members. I like to thank my coach, and I gotta thank the family, you know, like my brother's son, you know, like when he first got introduced me to the game, you know, I never thought I would be like I'd reach like this far. So I thank all of them.
And what are your goals? Well. What are your goals for the future?
My goals for the future, you know, for this year, like I'm trying to like play PG, like have like the scouts like watching me, you know, like EGP, you know, like what up next, you know, what up and coming.
Well, just keep fighting, keep going forward. Absolutely love the energy. Thank you so much for the interview. Enjoy your celebrations, and really looking forward to see more of you guys in the future.
Alright, thank you. Thanks for the interview.
That was a wholesome interview. Lovely way to end out this game. It was very, very lovely, but we still got a little bit of analysis to do before we close it out. So I'm going to be starting off with you, RMC, and specifically focusing on the playstyle that we saw from TG. So that first game, they played a lot more passive than they did, and what exactly changed? What happened to them to really change up that pace, especially as like this final game unfortunately didn't work out for them?
Yeah, for Taco, I think they didn't really change up the pace, and that's kind of the problem with the draft that they had. They needed to change up their pace. I know I was talking to Fairy Girl a little bit about this composition, you know, and we felt the need for them to play early to that Olaf, and unfortunately, they didn't quite do that.
Yeah, and Fernando, can you maybe talk us a little bit through the comp difference of these teams? So EGP's comp and TG's comp, it kind of clashed in regards of not giving TG maybe what they were looking for?
Might be having tech issues again.
Tech issues, well,
Yeah,
I'm gonna...
Oh, okay.
So I definitely think, like, looking at the comps, I think there should have been more aggression early, like perhaps towards the middle, like Jace helping Jace get a lead, or like Olaf just helping something early, because I think it created a scenario where they weren't able to apply any pressure.
Yeah, and like, pressure kind of coming from TG as we saw it in the first clip that we have to play. They really won the fight and they were able to get the Baron. So can you walk us through that one, Fairy Girl?
So the fight here,
Yeah, I think for this particular fight, it's actually I called for this recall here because it does go back to the point that Fairy Girl and I were talking about, the Olaf getting hit, right? You're seeing City Witty really pop off in this particular fight, and this is what we were calling for early. When you've got that Olaf, I know that they've changed him and he's not as strong as he used to be early game, and he scales up a bit better, but your composition as a whole doesn't quite match the scaling. So if that's the case, then this is how you should be playing it. Do that Rocket Olaf, send him firing into the enemy team early on when he's still strong. Ragnarok ignores all that CC that's coming in. Zoe can't get away. Vayne will struggle to get away as well. Run them down. And when Taco executed, it succeeded. And they got the kills, they got the Baron, and for a moment it looked like there were glimmers of hope.
yeah, I think for the comp that they had, like, they could have applied like more openings like that, like that play we just saw, like earlier into the game.
Yeah, can we have also a look at the second replay? Do you think maybe that was the, well, probably that was the tipping point here, Fairy Girl?
Yeah, so this right here, I definitely think that was a huge turning point, because they missed out on a lot, and Jace being behind since the beginning, it was just a free push for Camille, and this fight lasted like a solid minute. It was quite a fiesta.
Yeah, you were saying they're laughing the entire way, and I kind of understand why too. It's such an awkward situation to be in, and props to both teams. I think they tried to play it best they could, and EGP just really didn't let Taco base, even at the expense of potentially losing the fight. They just refused to let them go because they knew Faisal was ending game.
Yeah, for what it was actually really close.
Yeah. Oh, this part too, especially this last bit.
Doxa.
This is the Doxa diff we talk about when we talk about Zoe. Doxa Zoe, because I mean, he buys so much time.
The amount of instances that we've seen in the last couple of games where players just escape with a sliver of health, just a happy feet coming through the Wampa combos. We've seen so much of that today, and I am so happy for that being the case. But, you know, RMC, considering that, you know, EGP, they walk away with the win, TG unfortunately haven't. They still have one game coming up. What would be your advice to TG if they want to win that game?
Well, TG will be playing up against, who are they playing up against here? Let me just quickly double check. They're playing up against Supernova. So they actually already beat Supernova 2-0. I think for Taco Gaming, they kind of need to show up their early game a little bit, right? It's shown in this series as well that early game was a problem. And the last time they played Supernova, they went down 8,000 gold at one point. I think their late game is fine, but if you're going to struggle in the early game again, we've already seen that maybe sometimes you're not going to get a chance to go to that late and try and make that comeback.
Fairy Girl, looking at the performance you saw from EGP today, what if you had to pick out like the really good things that they did, some things that really made them stand out, the things that gave them the advantages, what would that be?
From what I've seen, I would really say that they're really good at catching out and making picks. Like between Zoe or like this Diego locking down, I think that's what really set them up for a lot of plays.
Well, RMC, you voted for EGP winning, and that is correct. So once again, you are gonna get the opportunity to pick a word from the last remaining block to help towards the tweet that's gonna be going out live. So RMC, what would it be?
Man, I just feel like the one thing Fairy Girl just showed me the Omega Law, because I feel like no matter what I pick now, it's not gonna end well. I don't know, like hydrated? I guess let's go with that. That seems like a safe enough pick.
Okay, Omega Lil, EG Prodigies, was it strong hydrated? I'm not sure, social media person, how you're gonna make this work, but good luck to you. And Fairy Girl,
I love you.
thank you so much for joining us today. It was an absolute pleasure having you. Before we close out, I want to ask you if you have any final shoutouts that you want to share.
First off, very welcome. I was very glad to do this. Not necessarily a shout out, but like meow, you know.
Oh, we got
there we go. We got the meow.
Thank you so much. We're going to be heading to a break. We're going to be back shortly. So don't go anywhere because we have the second game of this evening coming through, 100x versus Marvel University. So, you know, Maryville, don't go anywhere. We'll be back shortly.